Hello everyone, I'm Paul and welcome again to Beehive Language. And today we are going to be talking about body language. So what is body language? Body language is when we use our body, or parts of our body, to talk with people, to tell them things about how we feel. And all the time, people use their body to communicate and to talk with people. Okay? So today, we're going to think about some English phrases to do with body language and what they mean and how we use them. Okay, so something you normally see people do is they wave their hands. Okay, they wave hands. Like this. Okay, and we wave our hands to someone when we're greeting them, when we're saying hello. Sometimes it can be like this. Other times we might just raise our hand. But it's how we greet someone. It's how we say hello to someone that we already know or we want them to see where we are. Okay? A second type of body language that you see people use is that they shrug shoulders. Okay, now these are our shoulders, so when we shrug them, we go like this. We just raise our shoulders. And people shrug their shoulders when they don't know something. So if someone asks you a question and you don't know the answer, people will go, I don't know. I'll see. I can tell you later. These are examples of when people shrug their shoulders. A third type of body language is to shake hands. This is something we do when we meet someone new. It's a greeting. We are pleased to meet them, so we hold out our hands and we shake their hand. Okay? So it's something people do when meeting, not just for the first time, but often, especially with friends or for business. Another thing we shake is our head. Okay, so this is our head. We can shake our hand and we can shake our head. Okay? If we shake our head, this means no. Okay? So we turn our head from left to right and left to right a couple of times. So somebody wants to give you something to drink, but you're not thirsty, you'll say, no, thank you. If someone wants you to do something, there's like, do you want to go to the cinema? No, thank you. Okay. We also then do something else with our head. If shake our head is no, then we can also nod our head. And this is when we go up, down, okay? So we nod our head to say yes. So earlier, I asked the question, would you like something to drink? We would say, no, thank you. Or we could say, yes, please. Would you like to go to the cinema? No, thank you. Or, yes, please. Okay? But there are other things as well people do. For example, sometimes people cross their arms. Okay? This is when you take your arms and you cross them like this. And when someone crosses their arms, it means maybe that they're angry or they are bored. They don't want to be there. Okay? The meaning is not always the same. Okay? But normally when people cross their arms, it's not a good thing. Okay? It's bad. People also cup their ear. They put their hand behind their ear and do this. If you see someone do this to you, it means they cannot hear you. Maybe you told them something, but it's noisy. There's lots of sounds. So they may say, "Can you say it again?" And they will make this symbol to let you know that they did not hear you. If you do not hear someone, then you can do this as well to let them know that you cannot hear them. And the last one is yawn. Now, yawn is when you go, okay? Some people do this in the morning when they wake up, or late at night when they're tired. And a yawn often means that the person is tired. Okay? They also can mean, though, that a person is bored. Okay? They're not really interested, so without thinking, they yawn. Now, a problem is a yawn is involuntary. You can't help it. Okay? Somebody yawns in front of you. Did you just yawn? Because sometimes you yawn after other people yawn. And even though you know it's not good to yawn in class or at work, people still yawn. You can't help it. And one last body language is also the same, a little bit the same as yawn, which is stretch. This is also something people do when they're tired. They stretch out their arms or their neck. Okay? They stretch their muscles. So people will do this when they wake up, or when they've been sitting too long and want to move. You can tell someone is impatient, or they want to stop doing what they're doing and do something else, because they may stretch. Okay? So let's look at these again and practice a little bit. So, wave hands. Shrug shoulders, shake hands, shake head, nod head, cross arms, cup ear, yawn, and stretch. Okay? So, to practice, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one of these. I want you to see if you can remember which one. Okay? So, what is it if I do this? Okay, so what was that? You're right, that was cross arms. Now, what does it mean if someone crosses their arms? Okay? It means that they're impatient or are bored or angry. It's a bad thing. They don't like what's happening. Okay? What is this? Okay, it's shake hands. When do we shake hands? When someone meets us for the first time. Which one is this? Yep, it's nod head. Remember, not shake head, it's nod head. So we say that when we're, yes. So what I'd like you to do is go on and practice these, remember what they are. Okay? Now the second thing we're going to look at today is our grammar. Okay? And today we're going to talk about probability. That's a big word, but what it means is how likely it is that something will happen, or how sure we are something will happen. And there are two types of words we use to talk about probability. The first of these are modals, and we use these when we're using the present tense. Okay, so modals. And we use these when we're using the present tense. So for example, okay, if someone crosses their arms, you might go, what does that mean? What does that mean? So you might answer, it means they are angry. Okay, just make that a little bigger. They are angry. Okay? But the problem is if I say it means they are angry, then that's 100% sure. But I don't know that, because cross arms can mean lots of different things. So what I have to say is, well, it, and then we put in our modal, means they are angry. Okay? So here are some words we can put in. We can say, well, we can say they means they are angry. We can say they may be angry. May be no S. It may mean they are angry. It might mean they are angry, or it could mean they are angry. All three of these words means that we're not sure this is what it means, but we're giving a suggestion. Okay? Now the other time, so let me write these to the side so we can remember. May, might, could. The other time we use a different type of probability is in the past tense we use adverbs. We use adverbs. Okay, so let's try this again. I'm going to use the same one. I'm going to use a different one, and I say we'll use yawn this time. Okay, and somebody was yawning in class, so the teacher asks, "You were yawning. That person was yawning. What did it mean?" And the answer could be, it meant they were tired. So the person was yawning. What did it mean? And the teacher says it meant they were tired. This time is in the past tense. So it's meant, not means. But we want to add in a word to say we're not sure. So this time we don't use a modal, we use an adverb. So we say it adverb meant they were angry. Now, what are some words? We could say it may be, probably, or, perhaps, or probably meant they were angry. Okay? So here we can say maybe, perhaps, or probably. And these all, if I put an arrow, more likely. Okay? So this is more likely than this, which is more likely than this. Okay? But we can say any. It maybe meant they were angry. It perhaps meant they were angry. And it probably meant they were angry. Okay? So what we have to make sure we do is that when we use the present tense, we use modals. But when we use the past tense, we use adverbs. Okay. Now, let's quickly just refresh ourselves what we have learned today, and then we'll give some time for you to practice, and then we'll have a dialogue for you to practice with. So we learned all about our body languages, our different types of body language, what they mean, how they're done, and we learned some modals and adverbs we can use to say how likely something is or how sure we are. So what I'd like you to do now is go practice making sentences about what these mean using these words. Okay? And I'll come back with a dialogue in a few minutes. Thank you very much. Okay, welcome back to Beehive Language, and I hope you had a good time practicing some of the things we learned before, such as our body language, shrugging our shoulders, nodding our heads, stretching, as well as our grammar, our probability, our modals we use in the present tense. It may mean she was bored, and our adverbs in the past tense. It probably meant she was bored. Okay? Now, on the board behind me, I have a dialogue that uses some of the things we've been talking about, as well as some other things I'm going to teach you. So let's look at that first, then I will practice with you, and then we will practice more. Okay? So, here's our dialogue. Now, and the first part A, somebody is saying that they just had a very confusing lunch with their boss, okay? You know, boss, their manager, the person above them in work, okay? And they had lunch, but the lunch was confusing. This means that they don't really understand what happened during the lunch. They're confused. They're not sure about what happened. So, the second person, wondering why that is, asks them why. what happened during the lunch to make them confused? The first person then said, well, I was telling her about my ideas for the project, okay? Now, the project is what they're working on in work, okay? So their team has something to do, and this person has some ideas. She's been thinking about what they can do to help with what they're doing at work, okay? And then she's saying her boss liked her ideas. So person B thinks, well, what's the problem? That sounds okay, yeah? She liked the ideas, so he doesn't understand why the lunch was confusing. Then person A explains. She kept crossing her arms. Remember we talked about this earlier? Crossing her arms and yawning. She kept yawning. So he says, I thought she'd be bored. Okay. Now here's our grammar from earlier. Okay. And this is present tense. So here we use our modals. Okay. So what were our three modals? May, might, or could. Okay. Well, now here's another one. Okay. I'm going to teach you, and that's must. Okay. So must. Let me just write it a little bit bigger. Rub that out and write it in. So must means that you're sure. Okay, you're very sure about being bored. Okay, she must be bored. So may is not sure, but must is quite sure that she's bored. Okay. Then here we have don't worry, the answer. Don't worry, she was just tired. And here's our grammar a second time. But this is in the past tense. We use the past tense of to be. Now, in English, which is confusing, when we use to be, we put the adverb after to be. With other verbs, we put it before, like we looked at earlier, but with was, we put it after. So here, we could say, she was probably just tired. Okay? And then we finish with she did say she liked it. Okay? So now, to help me practice with you, I'm going to do it once with my friend Gary, and then we'll do it together. So hello, Gary.
Hi, Paul.
Okay, so Gary, I just had a very confusing lunch with my boss.
Why? What happened?
I was telling her about my ideas for the project, and she said she liked it.
So, what's the problem?
She kept crossing her arms and yawning. I thought she must be bored.
Don't worry. She was probably just tired. She did say she liked it.
Okay. Well, thank you, Gary.
No problem.
Okay. So, thanks to Gary. And now we're going to practice together. So, the first time I will be person A and you be person B, and we'll do the dialogue together. Okay? So, I just had a very confusing lunch with my boss. I was telling her about my ideas for the project, and she said she liked it. She kept crossing her arms and yawning. I thought she must be bored. Okay? All right, now I will be person B. So you start. Why? What happened? So what's the problem? Don't worry, she was probably just tired. She did say she liked it. Okay, well done. Let's try that once more. Okay, but this time, you still be A. Let's try and add your own adverb. And I will add my own You add your own modal, I will add my own adverb. So, why don't you start? Why? What happened? So what's the problem? Don't worry, she was perhaps just tired. She did say she liked it. Okay, well thank you very much for joining us today at Beehive Language. I hope we learned a lot about body language and how to talk about probability, and I hope to see you next time. So have a good day, and we'll see you next time at Beehive Language.